Well, hello, Steiff superfans. The unboxing fun continues. And today I have something that's starting out a little weird and a little shaky, but I'm certain will end up in the best way possible. So let me show you what we have to unbox today and why it's a bit troubling. Are you ready? So here is the box that arrived, and you can see it's not a big box, but here's the problem. Yipes, this is exactly how it arrived to me here in Steiff Central. This came from the London area, and apparently somebody was very interested to see what was inside, or perhaps it was customs. I'm not sure why it arrived this way, but what I'm going to tell you is that if you ever order something and it arrives that you may be concerned that there's a problem, because literally this box came like woven together and crushed like a truck ran over it. Take pictures of it from every side, and that is what I have done in case you need to connect with an insurance company or the postal delivery service or whoever that you need to respond to, because people need to know this is not acceptable and as a way for items to arrive. Anyway, so I have fully documented this on my cell phone with lots of pictures, and this sort of makes me a little upset because who knows what was in here, what wasn't in here now, and the condition. But anyway, so it is. The only silver lining to a box arriving this condition is that I do not need to use scissors to open it up. So with that tiny happy note, I'm simply going to pop open the box and see what's inside. As I said, this came to me from the UK. And I believe this item was found by a gentleman who was going through some of his father's and family materials during this downtime. So first is a lot of packing, and this might have saved this item. Here is the item, and it is wrapped in bubble, and it has a bonus item in it. So we'll pull out the bonus item, and let's look at the item. So here's the box. Bye-bye. So let's unwrap. And I was expecting this, so let's see how it aligns with what I was hoping for. Well, this is just charming, and I'll have to look at it very closely, but it does not look like it's any worse from the wear from its initial beginning. So it's packed in a nice plastic bag. So let me open it up just in case it got caught in a flood. This is wonderful. Oh, this size is just beautiful. So let me share him with you. Okay. So you can all breathe a sigh of relief. A basic review of him shows no damage because of his shipment. Okay, so let me share him with you. Do you see him here? He's just an absolutely beautiful and very early, what looks to be a velvet fox terrier on wheels. So let me show him to you from every angle. Okay, let's get out the measuring stick. Here we go. Our old friend, the measuring stick. So I'm going to show you the measuring stick. So he measures without his wheels. You don't measure wheels when you measure items on wheels. He's about, 12 to 13 inches tall. And end to end, he's got a little fanny problem. He used to have a little tail. Those were sewn on and often fall off. You see that frequently on velvet items. The little tails sometimes come off, especially on things like Skittles and toys like this that got a lot of wear. But anyway, from nose to fanny, he's about 14 centimeters. If he was 14 inches, I'd need 2 hands to hold him. So you see he's just a really little guy, velvet fox terrier. So he's a small size. So these actually were in the line from about 1902 through about 1917, and they came in 14 and 17 centimeters. So this is clearly the baby size. So let's look at him from head to toe. So I'm looking at his beautiful face. Let's look for a button. He has a teeny tiny long trailing F button in his ear. This button is maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. It's like the teeny tiny one, so it's real early. Okay, he's got these beautiful ears. His face, he's got black shoe button eyes, as you would expect through his time period. A very simple hand embroidered nose and mouth. Almost looks like a little X. His body, solidly stuffed, quite lovely. And he's on metal wheels, which are the early wheels. And it's just charming. And you can see in his construction that there's a little loop that goes actually into his foot and attaches him to the wheels, which is one of the ways of telling the authenticity of the item in some cases. So he would be sort of a tan velvet. He's darkened over time. That happens with velvet. And you can see he's got various spots like a Fox Terrier would. Little accident on his fanny, no problem. The good news is that there's no holes or damage to it. So it clearly just kind of probably disappeared over time. That happens. So what I wanted to talk with you a little bit more about was his wonderful collar, which is all original to him, and it feels to be sort of a leather type material, and it's very tightly on him. It could even be glued or such. And he's got a little medallion, and that's very sweet. You would often see a medallion or some sort of decoration at these collars that come to a V here. You'd see these also on things like very early Skittles would have something like this, or very early pin cushions or other velvet items that were decorated at the very early turn of last century. He appears to have a little medallion on him, and the medallion has imprints on both sides. It's my best guess the way Steiff would do things would be a little bit more elegantly attach the medallion to the collar, so there might have been a loop or some stitches or stuff. It's very roughly sewn on. My guess is that it was done at a later time, and maybe it fell off and they wanted to reattach it. But this is what you have here. He's just beautiful. Can you imagine this with a doll? No, he's about, a little less than 14 inches tall, 14 centimeters tall. So he's a perfect size to display with lovely turn of last century items as well. So a beautiful Fox Terrier, a popular and prolific breed illustrated in the Steiff catalog over time, probably because Fox Terriers were a very popular breed at the turn of last century through the middle of last century as well. Anyway, we're on a roll with the unboxings. I hope you enjoyed this little guy on the road. And I forgot something important. He came with something that I want to share with you. See, getting old has its disadvantages, but also its advantages, because we can continue on our conversation. He came with provenance, and here is a picture of the little boy who owned him. Isn't that wonderful to tie history together? Here he is, this little boy dressed in a turn of last century outfit with a big collar. He's standing next to some sort of seat or place for sitting, and a full letter of provenance describing the piece, which really adds a tremendous amount of interest to the item. How wonderful. I would find it hard as a family to give up something like this, but it's very encouraging to know that this will go to someone who will love and cherish him. So let's now say thank you and teddy hugs and puppy hugs and all sorts of warm greetings to you on this very hot day. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing, and please tune in soon for our next installment of What's in the Box. All right, thank you. Goodbye.